Konnichiwa.
And howdy, y'all.
I'm Leslie.
And I'm Laurie, and welcome to
Sumo Kaboom.
Sumo Kaboom, where we are recording in the closet here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We are super psyched because the Basho began. The World Games happened over the weekend.
Yes, cheers to that.
Woohoo!
I'm drinking Kirkland's finest Prosecco.
Yep, I'm drinking a mango orange spindrift. And we're about to break down the Basho with a special guest.
Yes. Now, we did a sit-in with Grand Sumo Breakdown last week. So if you have not had a chance to watch that on their YouTube or listen to them from last week, make sure you listen because we sat in and just said probably a whole bunch of silly things on their podcast for a couple of hours. But it was a good time.
It was a good time.
But we decided that we all like each other so much. Why don't we just sit in with each other on each other's podcasts
and keep drinking while we're at it?
That's right. And so that's what's happening. Yeah. So in just a few minutes, we're going to be having none other than Mac from Grand Sumo Breakdown join us on Sumo Kaboom.
But first, do you have any news?
Yes, I do. I wanted to let you all know I got an information. I got a message from a guy named Kurt, and he lives in the Seattle area. I said that weird, Seattle, but he lives in the Seattle area. Anyway, they're having a Basho bash at like a bar, and it's Monday, July 18th at 9 p.m. So just go on Facebook. It's open to the public. It's called I think Sumo Basho Bash or something like that. And anyone that happens to be listening in the Seattle area, or if you feel like driving and meeting up with just some other sumo fans, go ahead and do that. You might make some new friends.
And I know you sumo people don't mind hopping in the car and driving like all night long to get to places because you're always posting about that. Like, I got in the car at 5 o'clock last night and I arrived at this sumo festival the next day. So I know you can do it.
That's right. Oh, Max here.
Great.
Ding dong. Hello.
I can't see you or hear you.
I can't see him or hear him either.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's a great thing. Hi. Oh, I just love your background.
Oh, thank you.
Just to give you a heads up, we are already recording. We are.
I heard that as I signed in. I'm like, oh dear. But yes, this is me. This is all of me. This is my personality on a wall, if you will.
I love it. From Boba Fett to I can't figure out what's on the other side in the back. Are those pinup girls?
What's that?
Are those pinup girls back there?
No. So those are actually, I am a comic book nerd. So those are artists, comic book artists. Those are original drawings that they did when they were coming through the Midwest.
Amazing.
So you've got one version of the Joker. You've got another version, Harley Quinn, Terry McGinnis, and then Dick Grayson, and then my favorite comic right there.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, we are so glad to have you here,
yes.
Matt.
I'm so happy to be here.
We were just telling people that we were doing a little swapperoo, and we had a chance to sit in with Fleric and Ryan last week, and that was
you got their names right. That's good. Now, which one is Jake? Oh, excuse me. Jake and I are the ones who usually converse with. Now, which one is Ryan and which one is Fleric? I have to ask.
I have to say, Fleric got a nice haircut.
I didn't recognize
him. We were like,
I was like, they got a new guy.
The new guy. And then we're like, no, that's Fleric. That's Fleric with a cool haircut.
And Fleric is so smiley.
Yes.
Yeah, who knew?
Did he have a bigger beard before? I don't know, but
he used to. So he used to have a bigger beard. I am the only one in our group that cannot grow facial hair. Jake has kind of the Fu Manchu thing going on. Fleric and Ryan can get nice beards. I can't. It's just not possible with my genes. So usually I'm clean shaven, or the little bit of scruff. That's usually all you see with me.
I can't imagine you with a beard, nor Ryan. Actually, cannot imagine.
Oh, Ryan actually looks pretty good with a beard.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Okay, good. Well, so you just joined us. We were just telling our listeners that there is a party. If you happen to be in Seattle on July 18th at 9 p.m., it's the Summer Basho Bash. It's being held at a bar by a bunch of Seattle area fans of sumo. So if you are interested and you live anywhere near Seattle, check it out and make some new friends. Next up in news, the World Games happened this last weekend. Did you have a chance to watch any of it?
No, I was doing family obligations, and I was actually up in a tree when a lot of these tournaments were going on. I was sawing my way through some tree limbs.
Oh, I thought
Like
you were like
you were
in a
tree
tree
house?
house.
Because that sounds
No,
amazing.
I was in a tree actually sawing tree limbs off.
Doing manly things. I love it.
Wow.
I suppose.
Are you in the logging industry? How does this?
No, more like I don't want it to fall in my house or my neighbor's yard. So
That kind. Yes. Yeah. Well, I did have a chance to watch a couple of them, and I actually had a message from Eros, and she somehow, I guess it was slightly after the evening's performances, she messaged, she was like, I got fifth. And I could just kind of tell that she was bummed out about it. And overall, I think it's amazing. Like, okay, so in a nutshell, nobody from America won any medals. But what I want to say is they're all huge in my eyes and my heart, because what has happened in American sumo over the last just year or 2 years is that it's exploded. And places like the Ukraine and certainly Japan, they dominated, obviously, because it's their national sport and it's been around for a long time, So a lot of people have an actual doyo. They have all the resources. It's even in school, all of our teams are kind of coming back and being reformed, or just like the Dallas Sumo Club just popped up in the last year or two. And all of those people are so enthusiastic. And so, yeah, the medals weren't there this time, but it said like we had everyone there and they were so excited. And all their comments afterwards were like, this isn't going to get me down. I am even more inspired by what I saw. I'm going to come back at it and I'm going to aim for the next time around, or even better, continuing to build the sport. And I know that Eros Armstrong, who did place fifth, which is like amazing. She's also said that in the past, that that's her goal for the future, is to be able to continue to teach people the awesomeness that sumo is and bring it to a wider audience. So I say congrats to all of our athletes. They did us proud.
Indeed. Hey, they're out there doing it. They're out there doing what they love. You got to give them props for that.
I didn't realize when I watched, a few matches here and there, I didn't realize that they were going to be on a raised doyo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they didn't have any chance to really practice on it. Yeah.
No.
They just got to kind of walk across it.
Yeah, and I wonder.
Could you imagine?
No,
yeah.
No.
I imagine that was a real big change for a lot of them to be on a raised doyo, and I don't know if it was made out of clay or
it was made of clay. So we did a little investigating with that. This was the first time some of our competitors had even gotten onto clay. Yeah. I mean, they're used to mats. They're used to a vinyl mat. Like, I think this really showed what we need to do to improve just to get onto the world stage again.
Well, this was Alabama red clay, they said. So we've got Alabama red clay close by. We ought to be able to get a doyo built somewhere, right?
Somewhere. I don't know. A lot of these men and women have been practicing on the beach or have been practicing in a backyard with a, garden hose in a big ring around them. So that was a big deal for them to suddenly be on a clay doyo. And man, it's got to feel very different. It's got to feel as slippery as Nagoya seems to feel for our sumo wrestlers. Like from what I'm seeing.
Holy cow! I had a few slippy otoshis written down here to quote Kintamayama.
Yeah, they're slipping and sliding all over the place, and so I imagine our U.S. sumo wrestlers were contending with something quite similar because it's a humid place, it's hot, and it's clay.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are big things to suddenly find yourself right in the middle of.
It looked like it would be tough to take your entire, like all your training and then put it. It's like if you're a gymnast and all of a sudden you've been practicing.
Like, do gymnastics on ice, please.
Yeah, or like on cement. We'd be like, this kind of feels a lot different. So,
well, not just that, but you also, the other thing that we have here in the US is we have all the intramural tournaments. So we have all the groups from Texas, the groups from Florida, the groups from California. You get used to fighting each other. Yeah. This was a chance to fight other people from around the world, different backgrounds, different stories, different training styles, and really see how we stack up to them. I like you were saying earlier, I think this is going to be a huge step forward for a lot of them going, okay, let's get to that next level. This is where we got to be.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to say, all I'll have to say, since this is a joyful podcast about sumo, is that we had some tragic news in the world of politics coming from Japan, and I found it really interesting on the first day of the tournament that they took a moment of silence to honor former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And no matter how you feel about politics and wherever you're listening from all over the world, here in America, we know all too well about gun violence, and we just want to send our heartfelt uh, well wishes to anyone who might have hit extra hard. And I mean, everyone all over I was really upset by it too, and I'm not even sure of his politics really, but it's just like a tough thing, and all of the Japanese people are going through that. So we just send out our love and well wishes to them, and hope that healing comes fast. And yeah. All right. Shall we jump into
day one?
Yeah, well, actually, shall we jump into? We wanted to do, because last week we skipped over Nishikifuji, and I wanted to do like a little hot take on who the new guy in Makauchi is.
Well, we did learn a little bit from Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Yeah.
About the new guy.
Yeah.
We learned that he's 25.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that he is a belt sumo guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which part of this do you want to talk about? I can talk about his random hobbies.
I think I might know what Leslie might want to talk about with this guy, because my wife said the exact same thing. He's cute. I'm like,
is that what you want to talk about?
I think he is cute. I mean, it's been like I saw him, and at first, and I was like, yeah, he's not bad. He's definitely not bad. I do need to spend more time with him, though. I feel like I have bigger crushes, but he's coming along.
Is that a shot at his size? I mean, come on. He's only 25. He's got some growing still to do.
Is that it?
Maybe. I don't know. You mean like tall, or like he's shorter, right?
Yeah, he's a shorter guy, but come on, he can fill out a little bit more.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
I imagine he will. If he keeps training where he's training, Isegahama stable.
Yes,
he's gonna get much bigger and much stronger.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me just do a little backup, a little background, and
all right, do
on
all right.
Nishikifuji. Ryusei is his last name. Now, he was born July 22nd. What is that, a Cancer? What's July 22nd? I don't know. Anyway, 1996. He's 25.
Or is it a Leo?
Well, I'm Leo. I'm August 12th, so he might be cusp Leo.
Yeah, he might be cusp Leo, which means that he's fiery.
That's true. Yeah. I am fiery. True. I am fiery. He is from the Towada Aomori prefecture, and he is in the Isegahama stable. Now, what happened to him all through growing up, he started doing sumo in the 3rd grade, just basically kicking ass in sumo all through 9. When he's like 9, 10. He's just a total badass all throughout junior high.
A young prodigy, if you will.
I mean, he's just like good at the sumo. And so he goes to high school. He goes on to Kinki University, which is my favorite name. It's short for Kindai University.
I was about to say, isn't that just Kindai?
Yeah, but everywhere you see it, they shorten it to Kinki University.
Oh, I did not know. I'm writing that one down.
I know Kinki because I'd like to go to Kinki University.
Well, who would not like a diploma from Kinki University?
Exactly. I'm like, what's that? Oh yeah, that's my Kinki diploma.
Yeah, put it right
Check it
back
out.
there on your wall next to your cartoon.
Yeah, I like to get up close and personal, if you know what I mean.
So anyway, he went to Kinki University, or Kindai University, which is a sumo school. They're not small fries; they're big fries. But here's the thing, he had won awards all growing up, but he got to college and was like, you know what? I have me and my best friend Midori Fuji, and we're gonna piece out of school after our 2nd year, and we're gonna join sumo. We're gonna get a head start. So there are actually 3 guys from his class. The other one ended up quitting school, and I don't know who he is, but he quits professional sumo 3 months after joining professional sumo. Which was maybe not the right choice.
I don't know about that one.
But Midori Fuji and Nishikifuji both joined Isegahama, and look at where they are now. So maybe it was a good idea to drop out of college. Anyway, so that's what's happened with those 2 guys. So I like to think of them as buddies. They are buddies.
And still are buddies.
I can definitely say that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I always like to think of this guy as things keep happening again for him over the same exact way. So when he started in 2016, he joined or he was in the Jonakuchi division, and he won all 7, and he was in the playoffs with, I believe, Midori Fuji, and he won it.
Ooh.
And then he turned around and did it the next division up, Jonidan. He also did the same thing, 7-0 playoff with Midori Fuji, and won it.
And won.
Yeah.
And they're still friends.
Oh no, I don't know if I could do that. If Ryan constantly wins, like, I don't know if we could be friends. Like, haha, like, no.
No way. But anyway, he had been he had a different name. He had a different name, but it was after that win for Jonidan, I believe he changed his Shikona to Nishikifuji. So he started out as like Ogusarama or something. Why'd you look it up? Make it Agasawara.
Agasawara. Okay.
What'd you call him the first time? Agusarama?
Agusawara?
Agusarama.
Agusarama. That sounds like a good
Just flaps his arms and just charges people.
Right? Yeah.
Anyway, so after that though, he got up to Makushita and he did well. He worked his way up to like Makushita 3, and then he had this left elbow injury, and that dropped him down again. And then he had surgery, and then he came back, and then he worked his way back up. And I think when he returned, he actually got bumped back up to Makushita 3 and ended up like winning it. And then he went up to Juryo, dated around a little bit, then got crushed and sent back down. Moral of this story is like,
sorry, that's a great definition of my dating life. Like, you get up to a certain level, you date around, you get crushed, you go back down a level, you hang out, you train a little bit more.
Then you rise to the top and you're in the top division.
That's right.
That's the perfect way to look at it.
well, she's so stealthy. I wouldn't even know if she went on a date. I live with her and I don't even know she's been out there dating. I mean, I've at least been dating, but I've been I lied about it for a really long time.
Yeah,
I just said it was
I'm going out for coffee.
I'm going out for coffee late at night. But we'll let Laurie's life be her private life. Anyway, so
no judgment. You do you.
Everybody, you do you, or somebody else will. Anyway,
okay.
Y'all, that was just a poor taste joke. That's all that was. Okay. Anyway, so he did yada yada yada. He won Juryo.
Yada, yada, yada.
I love the George Costanza, like yada yada yada. Like, he won this. Like, well, no, hang on a minute here.
He worked his way through Juryo, but anyway, he won, and now he's Maegashira 17, and he's up for the first time in Makuuchi. So he had a good I think 11-4 record with the Juryo Yusho. So he did pretty well. He didn't go 15-0 or anything like that, but still.
Right.
I think for him, at least from what I've been looking at, like, I think he's going to be good. He's just starting, and he's at the dynamo house of them all. So even Midori Fuji's, as tiny as he is incredible, at the skill set he has. So I feel like there's some, I understand why they dropped out of college in the second year if they got an invitation from Isagahama stable, to say join up. It seemed like a pretty amazing thing. Now he also one of his elders he looks up to a lot is Amanishiki, and so that is kind of where his Nishiki comes from in his name, is from Amanishiki's Shikona, and he actually served as Amanishiki's Tsukebito for a while until his retirement in 2019. So that is what I've got about him. Do you have his blood type and hobbies?
I can add a few more things. Unless, Mac, do you want to jump in before I add?
Oh, no, go right ahead. I was about to say, you're just ticking all the boxes for me. I was just going to comment on his performance so far.
Okay, we're going to get there. And that's really super important. We are. But I do want to say he's had 2 reported injuries.
Yeah.
It's that left elbow, which I think he tore that muscle in 2 different places. He tore like 2 different insertion points on that elbow. And if you see in a lot of images, he'll have just a real padded up elbow, or like he's posted on his social feeds and things like that You know, you can see like when he's in the pool or when he's in, you know, like recovery and training.
Yep.
That thing will be wrapped up and you can see where, you know, there were surgeries. So there's lots of images out there with him with that left elbow wrapped up, but he's also had trouble with his left knee. So left side problems.
Yeah, but that's good. You lull your opponents into a false sense of security going, aha, so you think I'm going to attack from the right, huh? Think again.
Think again, except that he keeps getting injured.
Except that he keeps getting injured. So we got to work on that.
Yeah, we got to do more weightlifting on that left side.
Or maybe switch sleeping to the other side. Maybe he just sleeps on the
side.
Maybe.
That might be it. There is on YouTube a really great sumo training video that I found, and it's Amanishiki and him. And Amanishiki is talking to the camera, and he's teaching people how to do all these sumo exercises, but it's Nishikifuji in the back demonstrating them. And it's great. I'll put the link to that on our website.
Please do. I'm gonna have to check that out now.
Yeah, it's really kind of cute to watch their relationship in action. You know, knowing that he's learned so much from Amanishiki, and Amanishiki was still probably is very much a mentor for him. But let's get to the real exciting
stuff that all of our listeners really care about.
Okay, this boy loves to watch soccer. Never would have guessed.
Or for our European listeners, football.
Yeah, right. His favorite food, like most wrestlers, includes meat, but also sushi and edamame.
I also enjoy edamame.
A fine balance.
One of my favorite foods.
Yes.
And it's so good for you.
But also on social media, you can see there's lots of images of him with like flower plates of meat and things like that, where it's like
what we all really want, the giant beautiful bouquet of meats just displayed out. It's like, no, these are not summer sausages, these are actually fine delicacy meats.
Exactly. Yes, he is blood type B, not A. So
this
B,
is interesting.
meaning he's easygoing, he's bubbly, he's honest, he's selfish, he's creative, he's impulsive. He's not like Wakataka Kage. He's not, you know, your serious must-win type guy. He's
Wakataka Kage an A?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember exactly in our
A negative.
But he definitely has that type for blood.
Yeah.
Blood type.
I think we share blood types.
It's all in the blood, apparently.
Apparently.
Hot take.
Hot take. He loves, there's a manga or an anime called Detective Conan that he loves. But
Detective Conan.
Like as in the barbarian?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm picturing Arnold Schwarzenegger with a magnifying glass going, you are the wizard who killed my father.
Exactly.
Or something like that. That's terrible Conan the Barbarian reference, but okay.
I thought that was really remarkable, actually.
Okay.
Very good.
I would pay to see that. To see that version.
I am Conan the detective.
Oh, God. Okay, but here's my favorite tidbit that I found. His favorite artist is AK-69. And that tells you everything you need to know about this young man.
All right.
Who is AK-69?
Here's to you.
Okay, so I was so amazed I had to look up AK-69 as well. He is a Japanese hip-hop artist. Okay. This was the rabbit hole I ended up going down today. A Japanese hip-hop artist. Okay. He raps in English and in Japanese. And he's great. He's awesome. Like, you can go to his website and he's got all these videos of him working out, and he's like, of course, covered in tattoos, and he's wearing like a baseball cap and like all these gold chains. But he's multilingual. He's this older guy. He's like, he kind of looks, he reminds me a little bit of Eminem and the way he's dressing and stuff like that. But he's been around since the early 2000s doing this. And he's got this song that's called I'm a Real Champion.
That's the one that I've heard is I'm a Real Champion. Is the
really?
one I
You know this guy?
Vaguely, I know him. I'm like, ooh, I think I know who this guy is. I'm more of a fan of Damon Kaka. All hail the venerable Damon Kaka. But
yes.
I do know him.
Love it. He was new to me, but thank you.
Where is his name derived from?
You got me on that one.
It's pretty self-explanatory. AK-69.
Well, the 69 part I get, but the AK part.
Like a gun.
Yeah, the AK I think is in reference to an AK-47.
Yeah.
So he AK
AK's the 69.
69.
Possibly. I don't know. I haven't
think
dug
there's just
deep down that
something
rabbit hole.
Lost in translation there.
Doesn't
But
sound quite so appealing to me, but maybe
You
to
know
someone
what?
else.
Teach his own.
That's yeah.
I
There
at least
you go.
know of him. That's enough.
Now we know what to get you for Christmas.
There we go. I was about to
His
say, I want the
greatest
platinum
hits.
album.
Greatest hits from the last 20 years.
Of
Yes.
AK 69.
All right. Is that all we've got to talk about as far as Nishikifuji goes?
Well,
Oh no,
originally-
we have his current record right now.
Right,
Let's
please.
do current record.
He is currently 2-1. As of day 3, 2-1. And I think that Mata against Hide no Umi on day 2, highly suspect. I don't know if I went back and I looked at the replay on this. Was it Hide no Umi that jumped, or was Nishikifuji just ready? That's what I wasn't sure about this. I think there were some head games being played here, but unfortunately, our boy lost.
Well, I never know just how nervous are these guys. Like how nervous would you be going into looks like I'm going to join the professional the Dallas Cowboys today, and I just got bumped up from college ball and they just put you straight on into the pros during I mean, that's how I think of it. Like I might be like, oh my God, everybody knows I'm the new kid. Like I might be a head case. I might be really nervous, but I don't remember that.
He's at least holding his own. I mean, he hasn't looked bad in his matches. It's just that one against Hide no Umi, I was like, and he lost with the Hataki Komi. So again, not bad.
Yeah,
not bad, but
I think
not
it takes
a stellar start.
But he's 2-1. Day 3, 2-1. That's okay for a brand new guy to the ring. He's not 0-3 like a couple of his other competitors,
or Ozeki's, or
the Ozeki, or anyone. Shodai. We don't speak of him.
At this point.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well, should we start from day 1 and kind of go through day 1 through 3, or is there more about Nishikifuji that you would like to say?
I have high hopes for him. With this debut with him, I like what I've seen from him so far. I like his style, and I definitely love the pizzazz he brings when he's off the tachi-ai.
Yeah.
It's not lazy. I don't think he's timid. So I like this. But this is why I also like Tobizaru. Tobizaru is one of those guys like, all right, we're going absolutely nuts. Let's see what happens here. Yeah. I hated Tobizaru when he went against Hakuho. That one I still don't get. But I love the wiry, antic-y kind of guys that love to just go out and have fun and not show any fear.
Yeah. That's so true. I feel like when I watch Tobizaru, even when he loses, it's just all action. It's just all flailing arms. He is throwing every part of his body in every possible way at the other guy.
And he usually smiles. Even if he loses, he's like, oh, I lost. Like, what are you smiling about, dude?
I think he just genuinely likes it.
Exactly.
Except when he met Hakuho. And then
that's the only black mark in my book.
Oh, that poor guy. I remember that look on his face of just pure terror.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about on day 1. Do you remember Yutaka? Do you remember? Yikes.
Yes, Yutaka and
Oho on day 1.
Yes.
Now this match was like, okay, I felt going into this, they both have 6-9 records from the last Basho. And I felt like these two guys were pretty evenly matched. They look well matched. Both are big boys.
They look similar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Similar builds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had a very nice even tachi-ai from the very beginning. And there was this like serious stare down from Yutakayama up top, which I don't always pick up. He's such a nice guy.
Like this.
Yeah, it was like
that Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu's got the aftermark guy like, how dare you go against me?
He does.
Or he'll be like, I'm gonna remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it scares me.
But most of the time, Yutakayama just looks scared,
right?
Or scared or stressed to me. He usually looks stressed,
right?
I could say stressed. I'd say stressed.
At the end, when he loses, he definitely looks sad and stressed. But anyway, I kind of felt like they had a nice even tachi-ai up top. And it was this match that had a lot of big shoves and thrusts. And it was Yutakayama doing his best to get like this right hand inside grip and outside grip. And then Oho was kind of doing the same. And what happened to me when I watched this, it went on for a really long time, is that they both just kind of kept trying the same things, big smacks, trying to get a grab, big smack, trying to get a grab, readjusting, pivoting around the ring. And they just kind of stalled out. It felt like really they were evenly matched. Like all of their game plan from both of their points of view, they had just tried their game plan. And well, both of them were like, it's
wasn't working.
you know? But what was interesting though about this is that Yutakayama, he ended up, I think, lasting longer. That was the real thing. And that was the kind of the comment I wanted to make about this, is that I think Oho, I mean, we all know who he is. He has legendary blood, you know, he's going to be great. He's still young, and he's got a lot of potential, but he's got a lot of growing to do. And I think that this was, if we saw Oho in 3 years, then I think it would obviously be Oho. But I felt like Yutakayama and him just having more time up there, he ended up winning out. And he took kind of like, Oho was going for like a makikai at the end, and he ended up just being vulnerable in that moment. And Yutakayama won with a Yorikiri, but they both look beaten, tired. But I think that Oho he showed a lot of guts and improvement from the last time I saw him. Even though he didn't win out, he did have like a really nice bout where he gave it his all, but his endurance is what lacked. And that is just going to improve with time, you know, the more we see him. It seemed kind of like a dull finish to a really long ass bout. But I thought it was interesting. And I just like to see these young guys and be like, you know, I remember watching Daisho when he came on and be like, who's this young guy? And then like kind of seeing him a little while later and you're like, yeah, like he's arrived. You know, a lot of these guys, Kiribama when coming out, he's arrived, you know, we're just beginning to see that. And even if you look at Kota Nawaka now, where he's beat him by about a year, you know, when did Kota Nawaka come on the scene? But you can just see how Kota Nawaka is doing now versus when he first started. They're just kind of like those beginning fumbles, but you still see improvement from the last time we saw him. That was a really long breakdown for like
no, that's perfect. I love the long breakdowns.
Right.
I was just checking all of my notes going, yep, she covered that. I was looking up like, yep, she got that. Like, yep, she got that. Like, fine. That was a perfect breakdown. Well, you should come on the show more often. Like, that was an excellent breakdown.
Thank you very much.
Here's my addition. So what I noticed on day one is that this is a sweaty ass affair.
Oh yeah.
Because like the Yokozuna during the Doyo Iri was sweating. Like they're standing there in their
33
aprons.
degrees.
Yeah.
The Nagoya arena is the smallest venue, and there is very little airflow in there.
Ugh.
I mean, there's some, but that was the one that we went to, and we were sweating like crazy.
Okay. I was just gonna ask.
Yes,
so
that was the one we went to back in 2019.
Okay, so were you fanning like crazy because it was so hot?
Yes, there's a couple other photos of us just going. No, it is hot in there.
Okay, so it reminded me of the Cowboy Cup, which I was just at in Fort Worth, where it was 105. You know,
in the shade, I think is what Jake said.
Yes, so it was crazy hot, sweat pouring off people, and you know, I noticed in this Oho Yutakayama fight that God. Jesus, just give the guy who won an ice bath.
I know.
Because that was so long and that must have been so sweaty.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine how it must have felt to be that close to one other guy for that long in that arena.
It's like a Takara Fuji Ichinojo match. They just slump into each other and be like, okay, one of us got to move. One of us got to move, man.
Exactly.
Well, let's hope he found a swimming pool afterwards.
Yes.
Both of them did.
Yeah, they deserved it.
Hope.
But I hope Yutakayama got, something real nice and cool after that.
I do too. Do you all remember Wakataka Kage versus Ichinojo on day one?
Yeah.
Now, it should be noted that Wakataka Kage has a new mawashi. It is not silver. It is platinum, apparently.
Oh. I didn't realize there was that big of a distinction. Platinum, are we?
Nor did we. I was like, it looks gray, but okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Sekiwake.
I just thought it was shiny gray, but okay. It's a platinum card if I'm watching.
See, I miss calling him Shin Sekiwake Wakataka Kage. I mean, that was fun when we could do that. And now I can't say Shin anymore. It's like, all right, you've proven yourself. You're fine. You're just Wakataka Kage now.
Sekiwake
Sekiwake.
It's
Sekiwake Wakataka Kage.
Yeah.
Sekiwake Wakaka. Sekiwake Wakataka Kage.
There you go. There's a tongue twister for
I
you.
did it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Some vocal exercises.
Yes, I'm gonna have to add that into my weekend routine. All right, so this match was interesting because what happened off the Tachiai is Ichinojo, he just lumbers because he's a very large boy, and every time I watch him I just think he's not going to win. And I know that that's not right because he wins all the time. But like up against Wakataka Kage, I was like, oh, Wakataka Kage is so much, like energy and nope. All Ichinojo had to do was just get the left side grip. Then the other one with these enormous, like outreached arms. They're just so
size
long.
Matters in sumo.
It does. And Wakataka Kage is so strong, and he gets in lower, but like he tries to inch himself more towards the center of the doya, but Ichinojo has got a very strong grip, and it's just clearly not enough for the big man because it took, I think, approximately 2 lifts up, and then like Wakataka Kage was at the edge, and it was Yorikiri win for Ichinojo. But I saw quite a bit of defeat on Wakataka Kage's face because he's like, I've got the mojo, I've got the energy, I'm gonna beat the big man, and it was like he was solidly beat by Ichinojo.
Yeah, this Snorlax was awake at this point. We colloquially call him Snorlax. Like, oh no, he's awake and he's hungry. You're not gonna beat him, man. Sorry.
No.
We gotta give the guy some props for some major defense that he did. I mean, Wakataka Kage is a wily character, and he controlled him, kept him right in front, and took care of business.
Yeah,
he's awesome. He is,
but he doesn't look like he has skill. I mean, he looks like he's
that's part of his strategy. When he just stands up there, he brushes his hands, he gets down. You think like, is this guy taking this for real? And then right off the tacha, you try to beat him off there. And it's like, no. Nope. He's just gonna stand there and be like, okay, I win now. Thank you, and just start walking you back.
Exactly. I know. So he just saves it all for those moments. For those moments right in the middle of the ring. That's what he did. Now,
I say that, but we've also seen cases of sleepy Nojo when Snorlax is asleep and he just walks back. So that's one of my favorite to watch because you never know what you're going to get. Is he going to be awake or is he going to be asleep? And when he's awake, he's incredible. When he's asleep, it's like, all right, and we take 3 steps back and we're good. Like, all right, yep, there we go. Just chalk it in the books. Hope for tomorrow.
True.
All right, so the next match I want to talk about is the Takakeisho versus Kiribayama match. Now, this one was epic, as I remember, because what I noticed is Kiribayama has been getting better and better and better. But his strategy was, if I can just survive the brutal
the onslaught
from the angry hamster, if I can just survive that and focus on getting inside and staying low. And he did. What he did also was he would deflect some of those shoves with a shove on the shoulder, or swat at his hands so that Takakeisho's epic thrust didn't end up square in his chest. And he did a really great job. And then once he got inside, he got a double inside after one of those epic blasts.
The dig.
And he did it, and he managed to lift up and walked him out. It was a Yorikiri win. And it was just like a great lesson I think he learned. If you can withstand the barrage of arms and angry flailing and thrusting and shoving, if you can just hold on and stay patient and get low, you will get that grip. And then if you get the grip, you've got a really good chance of lifting up on the tiny man. And
I wonder what the difference is. So Takakeisho, a renowned pusher thruster, obviously an Ozeki. What do you think the force difference is between a Takakeisho Suridashi versus a Oyama style shove?
Oyama.
Ooh.
Because Oyama, another renowned pusher thruster, but his arms, I would
Much
venture to guess
longer.
twice the size of Takakeisho's. Do you think there's more power there? Or would you say Takakeisho has more power because he's closer to the body?
Right, like he's compact.
Yes.
Good question. Really good question. Do the length of the arms translate into more power or not? Does follow through affect power?
If that's the case, then Oyama has a lot more follow through than Takakeisho. Just going to throw that one out there.
Right.
Especially when he gets the haymaker waves in there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
That is a really good question. I feel like we need like a physical therapist to understand this question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Oyama's main, I mean, that's his crazy weapon. So I would think though, but they're both large, but they're proportionate to their body size.
Also true.
Ayama's arms, though, are a little bit more lanky than Takakeisho's. I feel like Takakeisho is just a ball. So, you know what? I don't know. I have no idea.
Because then you have guys like Ichi Yamamoto and Abi, which completely destroy the narrative, in my opinion, because they're nothing but springs.
Right.
But Oyama and Takakeisho, because of their size, if they were throwing haymakers, you know they're gonna hurt. If Abi or Ichi Yamamoto tried to throw a haymaker, I'd be like, what's this? what are you doing? But if it's head on, like, ooh, that one could actually have a little more power. So it's been one of those things that have been tumbling in my head, like,
well, until
do I
we
dive
get
down a rabbit hole?
In the ring, though, no one will really ever know unless we could talk to somebody who's been in the ring with both of them.
I like life. I'm not going to volunteer myself for it.
No, but if we could get like Shohozan or somebody that like recently retired to be like, tell me the difference in the thrusts and the shoves and the pushes from someone like Aoyama versus Takakeisho. Do they feel the same? And it's just from a different position?
And Ichi Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I would love to know all three.
Yeah, three different styles. And I want to know, like, okay, which one has the most force? Which one is the most effective? Again, I'd be slanting toward Takakeisho just because of his rank, but which one has which one?
I don't know. Something we'll never know unless we do feel like going down that.
Stay tuned, listeners.
Very dangerous path.
Yeah, no, we need to find a wrestler to ask that question of, because that is a really good question.
Maybe we should write a letter.
We should.
And see if we get a response.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, we need somebody to translate it for us.
No, because my brain goes to different body shape, translates into different things you do well and things you don't do so well. So, somebody who's really, buff on the top, their shove is going to be very different. I imagine Takakeisho is really buff on the top. I do. I imagine he is. You can't really see it that well, but I imagine there's lots of muscle there.
Yeah, there is.
Whereas Ichi Yamamoto, not so much. Takarafuji, his thrust has got another.
His all in the base. Takarafuji's base is chef's kiss.
It is. Like he never leans off of it. So his thrust, his push isn't quite the same as like cannonball coming at you.
Exactly.
I don't know.
The physics of sumo.
Yes, I know. I think that's just the strength of Takakeisho. Everything goes into that move. That is his signature move. His entire body from his toes to his head is just like shooting out through his arms. And that is his weapon. Well, we'll never know. But let's move on. The last match I want to talk about was the surprise of the day, which was Abi versus Fuji. Now, this match, there was no tachiai. Abi did his normal, I'm going in and I'm going to do the double arm at the neck deal. And that's pretty much what he did to keep Fuji away from his belt, because we know Fuji has arms for days. And when he gets grip, which he does, you're toast. You just know it, and he's learned it enough times. So his approach was, again, I'm not going to let him close to my belt. And Terunofuji's really good, though, which is being sneaky and getting on under. And he does. He kind of tucks down, puts his head lower, and still reaches in for that belt. I think he got kind of something on the belt, but Abi was pretty wiggly. I don't think it was anything solid. And then he's also at the same time doing what a real pro does, is all of Abi's Supati, all of his arm, all of his, attacking to the neck and the chest is just kind of blunted by Terunofuji. He just kind of holds on and like ducks down and is like, if I can just deal with this hyperactive kid that's just going full force at my head, I just stay focused, get the belt. And he does. He advances Abi to the edge, but this is where everyone was like, whoa, what
Oh,
happened?
yes.
Because Abi and his little cat feet danced on the Tawada, and he pivoted he noticed right when the Yokozuna was trying to finish him off.
Perfect timing.
It was too much forward momentum. And yes, it looked exactly like Terunofuji aimed well, but Abi was pretty fast, snuck out to the side. He ducked out, and Terunofuji went just straight forward, and he was ushered out. And so,
well, you could see it right when he stopped. You could see all his forward momentum, like, oh, no. But Abi got right behind him.
I know. So I thought, well, okay. And I mean, Abi's got a lot of momentum. And I mean, this was a big win for him. Also, I worried because when Terunofuji fell off the doyo, he hopped as usual. I was like, his knee snapped. His knee snap?
Nope. We're done. We're done. We just saw him die.
It seems like every time he wrestles, I'm thinking those
Also
things.
true.
Well, that's it for his knees. But it was a beautifully timed pivot or shift at the last split second that it could matter. Abi executed beautifully and defeated the Yokozuna with an okuridashi. It was like a rear push out. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. You even had some cushions fly, which we haven't seen in a long time. You saw some of the cushions fly. I'm like, oh, we get to see it. But I think there was an announcer going, don't throw them. Don't throw them.
Yep. No, I noticed the same thing.
Yeah.
I noticed the cushions, and I noticed Terunofuji's look of just like, I cannot believe I just did that.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that. Those two things really stuck out to me.
Yeah. That is all I've got for day one.
Take us away, day two.
Day two, as you wish. Well, we begin things off with, we mentioned it earlier, Nishikifuji and Hidenumi. I think there were some head games going on here. Sumo and Babes versus the Babe of Sumo. Huh? See what I did there? Anyway, looking at it, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Nishikifuji, I think it was nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Hidenumi just played it right. Got the Hitaki Komi. Okay, but still definitely wanted to stand out because it was his first loss. And he lost with a Mata in there. And, wasn't the greatest feeling of the day. But hey, He got it out. It's okay. He had his one loss. Now he can go 14-1. Everything's going to be fine.
That's right. 14-1.
That's right.
He's going for it. He's going for it.
Was day two the day there were a lot of there was a lot of mono-ease and a lot of like, let's look at that again. Okay.
Basically, I remember day two is just the day that everyone shot the bed.
I don't remember
yes,
that.
also true.
I don't remember that.
I just was like, what's happening? Everything is off. And I mean, really off. Once we get later in the day, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I was just like, did people sleep last night? Because across the board, it was just weird. And everybody was like,
feel free to chime
tired.
in. These are just some of the matches that I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting one. Next up on that is Onosho and Yutaka Yama. Now, normally Onosho has no breaks. Right from the Tachiai, he is straightforward and usually into the dirt. So I've come to expect that from Onosho, but not necessarily with this one. So Onosho actually was holding his own. Yutaka Yama actually, it was good back and forth battle, but right toward the end there, Onosho was in the power position, just overcommitted as Onosho does. Yeah. But what got me with this one was Yutaka Yama was already sitting down, kind of. Now, Onosho was already laid out, so dead body rule applies. That's right. But Yutaka Yama was already sitting down, and when he hit just that thud, I thought, ooh, the ground must have shook on that one.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't a clean bout. It was just kind of messy, in my opinion. What did you guys think?
If I'm thinking back, I just think about Onosho's face.
Mm.
I only tracked his face at the end, which he has two looks. One is the oh no show face, and then the other one is like I'm on top of the world. The oh yes show. Like he those are the only two speeds that I really see with that guy. I feel like, I mean, was it last Basho? Was he out? Is that why he's so low numbered, or did
no show?
Yeah,
It was the rib.
It
Got
was
a
a
broken
rib.
Yeah, it was
So
a
he
broke
was-
rib.
So that's what
So
I've been
that's-
watching for.
yeah, because
Mhm.
he left at what day last time around, or did he just suffer it out? I can't.
No,
hard to
I think he
remember.
left. I can't remember
left.
which day.
I can't
Hence
remember.
why he's wrestling lower down. Maybe it is that. Maybe it is.
It was
He's just
early
tender.
on, as I recall.
Yeah, but your bones when you're 4, you can like regrow a bone quick, but
No, he was
You
in a lot
can't.
of a lot
Yeah.
of pain after that broken rib and has not been able to train well. I've really just been watching him to see how aggressive he is, and I think that injury is playing into what's happening with him.
yeah, it was a Hitaki Komi win for Takayama, right?
I'm double checking my notes here. I
Oh,
have
it's
to read
okay.
through my
I've got-
terrible handwriting.
I've got the notes. I was
Yep.
just
Yep. Hitaki Komi. After there was a Mono-e with a Gunbai Dori. Yep. Hitaki Komi.
Oh my
Very
God.
good.
Your notes are very good. I
Well,
just
thank
rip
you.
them from the website.
No, I'm just watching it, just replaying over and over. Like, all right, where are his feet? Where's his hand? Where's this? Where's the knee?
That's what I do.
But the next match I want to talk about, there was no question on this one, and that was Sekiwake Wakataka Kage against Tamawashi.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Right off the Tachi-ai.
the Muffin Man.
I'm gonna say he got KO'd because slamming into Tamawashi's shoulder as he did, he just kind of shifted to the side, and then Tamawashi's like, okay, and just started pushing. So
That's
what did you guys think of that
interesting.
Tachi-ai?
I thought he
It was
lost
a
his footing.
slip. Yeah.
Yeah, I
but-
thought Wakataka Kage just completely like ran into a wall and his feet just went out from underneath him.
Wow.
Like it was a balance issue, a slippery surface issue. But
And that could
maybe
be,
it
but I
wasn't.
was looking at his face and I thought, ooh, I think he got his bell rung because his eyes kind of slanted to the side a little bit as he was moving over. So I
That's
thought
interesting.
maybe he got a little bit of a bell ring.
Maybe. I saw him and I was like, oh, he's
Wow.
just pissed at himself. He's just mad.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he knows he's going for 12.
Mhm.
So I like in my mind, when I put myself in his shoes, I can imagine him just being like, that was an idiotic
Yeah.
thing to do.
I'd have to
Yeah.
say, when I watched it, something happened. It wasn't like something happened where he was either off, he slipped or something was off. It may have made it, that makes sense that he maybe just got rung real hard because
Mhm.
he didn't seem to react like Wakataka.
And that was
normally
my
does.
follow-up was
There was
afterward,
no-
he just kind of
Yeah.
listed off to the side.
Yeah. It was a little suspect. I was like,
Okay.
and it definitely didn't look like a mental thing, like he was suffering that way. He's not. He is like so solid mentally.
Mhm.
So,
I
but I
must have missed
definitely
that then.
noticed, like, I think something happened. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was
Like you led with your head and you slammed into a wall.
unintentional, which makes sense. I mean, Tamawashi is. Every time I watch him, I'm like, he's just one of the strongest of them all. He's just. I often think if you polled all of the wrestlers, they would be like, if you get socked by that man, just know it's one of the worst,
The Muffin Man?
the Muffin Man.
The
Yeah.
Muffin
He is
Man.
so strong. I mean, he's 30. I mean, he's like 52. How old is he now? And he's still wrestling. He's
87.
87.
He's in his 80s.
I can't stop doing the Muffin Man every time we talk about him.
I love
That's one of our favorite jokes around the house.
Seriously, it never gets old, ever.
I love him. I love him. But yeah, I would not want to be on the receiving end of any of his pushes or thrusts.
Or his throws, because one of the things that we associate him with on the show are his kotonages of death. There was a period back, I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, where he sent at least 3 to 4 guys out with injuries from his arm lock throws or
Oh,
elbow
God.
throws, excuse me.
Oh, God.
Yes, no, they're bad. They were bad. It's like we associated him with kotonages of death or kotonages of Kyujo, since none of them actually died. But anyway, culminating into the final round of the day, Terunofuji versus Kiribayama. I love seeing how Kiribayama has been developing. And this is one of those to where I love watching Terunofuji. He's not the most flamboyant of the Yokozuna, not like Hakuho. When I think of a flamboyant Yokozuna, I think of Hakuho.
Right.
He's
flair.
Exactly.
Extra.
It's just that aura, just that like I'm the king, like just the swagger, the way he carries himself, the way his matches, the way they go. It's like this guy is the king and he knows it. Terunofuji is like the everyman's, the working man, the fighting man's Yokozuna. What's that?
He's steady.
Like
yes,
like
he's steady. And you think you're going to be able to get him, but that's where he comes in is like, nope, I'm going to hang with you. I've got patience. I've got size. I'm going to figure out how to beat you. It's not flashy, but it's meat and potatoes, and it works when he's not overbalanced.
Right.
And with those glass knees. So a few little caveats, but that's what I loved with this was he had patience. Yeah. Kiribayama tried everything he could to try and get Terunofuji down and out, and Terunofuji just hung with him and walked him out of the ring.
Yeah. I will say with this fight, I thought Kiribayama put up a real good fight though. Like
absolutely.
I wrote like he'll get there one day because you can see him going, okay, this is the most epic foe here. I still have never figured it out. I'm going to try new things and new things. And what about this? I mean, he really did try everything and he did pretty good. He really did. He just, again, lost out to the big man.
Still has never beat him. As far as I recall.
Yeah,
has never beat Terunofuji.
I know.
I like the way you guys call it every man and the way you call it steady. I call it, well, two things. I call it patient like you do, but I also call it very careful. Very careful sumo because he's working with a lot of injuries.
Definitely.
But I also remember that interview he gave. It was at some point last year in which he said, I don't have a lot of skills, but I can absorb. Like, I can take what people throw at me. I've got the size to do that. And I thought, wow, what a sweet superpower, actually.
Yeah.
Well, especially when he gets that inside grip. He takes all the abuse and then he gets that inside grip and he just outmaneuvers you. He just outmuscles you.
Yeah.
It's just really beautiful, really careful and sweet.
Yeah.
But it's so stark from what we're used to. And that's what I think I love about Terunofuji the most is it's not.
He's very stoic.
Yes. I love that but I loved Hakuho because he was Hakuho. Yeah. I love Terunofuji because he's Terunofuji. It's like,
I like his eyebrows. Like when he gets grumpy and he gives
that brow lowers and he's like, I don't like it.
I love that.
Like, all right, fine. Here we go.
Yes.
I will also say, on day 2, this is the day that we haven't mentioned Shodai, but Shodai lost in the first day.
I wasn't going to bring him up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No. It just needs to be said. It's a storyline that we all are desperate. Like we're all following. We all want it to be another way than it is, but it just is. He's lost 2 days in a row, and it was up against Takanosho. So I like Takanosho. So
same here.
I'm always like, oh, good. At least that guy, but we do care that Shodai keeps his Ozeki status, but he's not having a strong start. Now, again, these are the toughest opponents he's going up against, but still, we wish he would win. If he's listening, just give it a little bit extra oomph tomorrow.
When I watched that fight on day 2, I watched his arms. I was like, did he hit anything on Takanosho's body with his hands? Not a thing. No. I watched it in slow motion. He missed every push.
Yep.
He didn't grab anything. I don't know if Takanosho was like so lightning fast or if he was just wrestling with his eyes closed.
I don't know.
The note I have is swing and a miss.
Yeah.
It was like I've never seen him perform quite like this, where it's like his arms were out to the side and he just had no answer. for anything that Takanosho sent his way.
I mean, we all know that like everyone is beating up on him, you know, the media and everything. But, you know, sometimes that tends to turn people on, you know, and be like, I'm going to show them. And his threshold for this abuse, it must be pretty high because he hasn't, or maybe he's just somebody that gets crushed by the criticism and he just cannot go on. But
what
I want that for him. I want him to just prove everyone who's been shit talking him wrong. I want him to do that. And it's just painful.
And I think the only way that that's going to happen is if somebody gets into a belt battle with him, because that's where the weird aura that is Shodai's ring sense starts to come out.
Yeah.
His Tawara ballet and luck, combine those two together, is one of the most uncanny, improbable, unlikely escape scenarios that we have seen from a guy his size. It's just mesmerizing how he can pull it out sometimes.
He should have been a cat burglar.
So
he would have been very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you think what's happening is the other wrestlers have sort of figured out to stay away from him and stay in a pushing battle with him? Don't let him get your belt. Don't get into a belt battle with the guy because he's much harder that way. So
if you look at a few of his last matches, they're keeping him away. They're keeping him back, and he's trying to get in, but it's just not there. So I think they figured him out because that's where his luck is. It's all in the Tawara ballet. It's all in those beautiful pirouettes and spinning or the weird side shuffles.
Yeah. So he's got to either get lower and get inside or get better at avoiding those shoves faster so that he can get in between the arms or twist out earlier. Yeah, that's interesting. I had not noticed that, but I think you're right.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to mention real quick because Mitake Yumi, we haven't chatted about, but he came into this Basho with an injury and he wasn't able to practice right up to the Basho. And I felt on day 2, it showed. I think day 1 he got lucky, but day 2, now he was going up against Kota Nawaka, who seems like he's turning into a man. And I know that's kind of strange.
Definitely.
He looked so much for so long like a 12-year-old. He finally kind of
No. I completely agree with you.
You see what I mean? You saw it too.
Yeah,
he was a child for so long. I'm like, give this kid a lollipop.
But something changed. Like either
the
like
way
his
your
muscles
voice went like really low, Meg. You were like, I definitely agree.
I tried, added effect, added emphasis. I tried. Like that was kind of the like added. Yes. Like, no, that's kind of what I was going for with that. Thank you.
Yes. But did you see that too? I just kind of felt like Kota Nawaka really turned it on. And I mean, Mitake Yumi's injured, but there was something extra in that match that I thought, okay, he's growing up, or he's finally showing in this tough position of Maegashira 2 that he can hang with the big boys and he has a lot of potential because he is a baby. And this was one of the first matches where I was like, oh, I'm definitely seeing a more mature approach to his sumo.
Earning his stripes, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Any other match of the day you remember? You want to jump
for day
into
2?
Day 3?
Well, there's so many good fights. I want to talk about them all, but for time's sake, let's just jump to day 3.
Okay.
But I do want to say, is anybody else having trouble saying Nishikifuji and Nishikigi? Like keeping them separate. Like when I start to talk, I talk about the other one, or like I have to keep it really clear in my brain. I'm like Nishikigi, Nishikigi, not Nishikifuji, but Nishikigi. I'm really enjoying so far. It's only on day 3. I've only watched 3 days, but I just love that man. I did not pay too much attention to him when I first started watching sumo. He just didn't seem like he had much fire.
He's like unassuming.
Very unassuming.
I agree. I think that's a good way to sum him up.
Yeah,
but he gets results.
He is looking really strong.
Yeah,
yet again. And I thought he was going to struggle more in the position where he's at. And he just had a really wonderful fight against Oho on day 3. He showed up. He stayed low. It was really nice belt sumo. So I just major props to him. I really like that unassuming man. But I really want to talk about the Kotoeko Meisei fight on day 3 because I thought that was
Oh.
super exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, this was
Right?
good. Take it
Yeah.
away.
It was really good. And I want, there's a couple fights I want to break down. And this is one of them because I have to break it down for anybody who hasn't seen it. Go watch it. Because Meisei looked just to have Kotoeko up against the ropes in major trouble, chest to chest, sending Kotoeko out of the ring. Kotoeko was on his tiptoes on the Tawara. He just looked like he was about to go off the edge of the cliff.
And he mustered incredible strength in the worst position ever.
How?
So what he did, Kotoeko, really way up high and in an awkward place, got his right foot in between Meisei's legs and tripped Meisei's left leg just enough so that when Kotoeko leaned left, Meisei was slightly unsettled, off balance, and Kotoeko pulled the most gorgeous Uwatenage on Meisei as he fell. And it was stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have worked, but it worked.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad you guys liked it too.
Oh my God. That's one of the fights I wrote down.
Absolutely. I've got 3 stars by it.
Yeah. I just don't know how he pulled that off. The logistics, the mechanics, the gravity that he defied.
Because his right leg went up into the air. Yeah, Meisei had him dead to rights.
I know. Yes. But then how does one learn that? Is it luck, or is that in practice they go through those moments and he's like, this is what I do in this moment and I've got a chance to win if I do this with my body? Is it that he's been around for a while, that he's had so much track time that he's been able to figure this out? Or do you think it was just one of those lucky, amazing things that happens on the Tawara?
From my opinion, I think that was just his skill, because given his body size and his experience, the lift outs have to be a common issue with the smaller guys. We saw it with Enho. We can see it with a lot of the littler guys where they have to find a way to get out of it. Otherwise, that's it. Game over. Lift out. We're done. Right. But he found a way to just maneuver his body and press himself up right against Meisei, taking away all his power and turning it against him. So I have to think maybe 10% luck, but 90% skill and ability.
I love that. Nice. Meisei was confused.
I'd have been confused. Like, I was lifting you. You had 1 foot in the air. Yeah. How did you topple on top of me?
I know. So good. So a couple other ones I want to talk about on day 3. I just want to mention, I love watching the 2 brothers in a row. Just whoever is making these fights daily, I love watching Wakamoto Haru followed by Wakataka Kage. It's just really fun to watch one after the other. In the Wakataka Kage versus Ura fight, Ura got in lower, as he always does, but Wakataka Kage did not let Ura pull down or maneuver at all. Wakataka Kage grabbed Ura by the pits, by the armpits, and shoved Ura up and out and got his first win of this Basho. And I bet he was relieved to finally break in that platinum Mawashi and walk away with a win.
Well, and Ura definitely popped up and was like, whoa. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Again, Ura's another one of those guys where even if he gets out of the ring, he's like, oh, did you see that?
Yeah. He's very excited.
That's why everybody loves him too.
Yes.
He's dynamic.
He's very dynamic
and flexible.
Yeah.
And just like rubber. I don't
keep
know
those knees healthy, please. Dear God, keep those knees healthy.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
Absolutely. What's another one? Okay, this one's really fast. There's 2 more. Okay, here's one. Takakeisho versus Kota Nawaka.
Oh.
3 steps. 1 huge cannonball move. 2, 1 huge roundhouse slap to the face.
Just blew
3, 1 huge push. Oshidashi, Kota Nawaka, right out of that ring.
That T-Rex, the T-Rex arms, you don't think there's any. That's why I brought that question up earlier in the show. It's like, you have to wonder how much force is behind that, because when that roundhouse right arm smacked into his face, He was stunned.
I know. That's
The
what I was
whole
thinking about when we
crowd
were
was stunned.
talking about it earlier. Is I was thinking of this fight about somebody's getting their bell rung. I was like, Coach Nawaka must have seen stars in that moment. I don't know how you would not see stars with that roundhouse.
See, I think if you got longer arms, I bet you can have more power, but people see it coming. Whereas
More time to deflect, maybe.
Exactly. Get out of the way. But when you got short arms, it can come from way back here and it's going to happen faster.
Oh, it was lightning fast.
Yeah. Super fast. And I think everybody was like, oh, that poor kid.
Well, especially when you heard the slap, just the impact was like, oh, that had to hurt.
I know. And it's one of those moments at Sumo where I'm like, I can't believe I liked watching this sport, but that was enjoyable.
I know.
It was. Okay. And the last fight of the day.
Wait, we should say
yes.
Shodai.
Well, the poor guy went to 0.
Yeah. He lost
still not a great start.
I know.
But I loved Kiribayama's victory. Ooh. Like, okay, that was good.
Yeah. It was great. But I have to skip over it because the last fight of the day, I just loved it. Terunofuji versus Takanosho because it was so close. And it was, again, another one of those moments where I just had to marvel at the skill of both of these.
Both of them, yeah.
Okay. So let me break this one down too. Takanosho started well. There was a really great tachiai. Takanosho got in low, but nobody could really get a belt grip in the beginning.
Right.
Terunofuji grabbed Takanosho's arm. He sort of pulled him around.
It was a shoulder battle.
Yeah. And Takanosho seemed to slip a bit on the clay, but he found his balance. And then Takanosho seemed to be in the lead, and he was pushing Terunofuji back towards the edge of the ring, but Terunofuji fought back and then reached over the shoulder of Takanosho and got a belt grip. But he was not the only one. Takanosho then got a belt grip too, and it became the battle of the underarm versus the overarm throw, and who is going to win that battle. But what I was so impressed with, they both went for that throw at the same time, and it, like, physics, the way bodies work, you would think that Takanosho was going to win, but Terunofuji used a brilliant, he used his leg in the back to block Takanosho's leg from lifting so that he could balance. Mm-hmm. So it affected Takanosho's ability to stay in the air. Takanosho went to the ground so beautifully. I just thought, I mean, it's one thing to pull a throw. Right. It's another thing to pull a throw and block someone else from being able to pull out a win from you at the same time.
Yeah.
I had that noted down as a reversal because Takanosho was in the power position going for the final Kimarite, and Terunofuji's like, nope, not happening today.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, we got lucky seeing some good sumo. I mean, the beginning of that match was frenzied in my mind, like more action, more movement than I usually see out of those two. So I think they like fighting each other. Like they're very well matched. Do you know what I mean? Like they were like, oh, this is going to be a good workout today. And they both gave their hearts with that battle.
Well, and I think their history is 6-5.
Yeah.
They were 6 and 5, pretty even.
Close. Yeah. So they both knew they had a good shot at it. At least.
But I love matchups like that. I love real tight ones because that always gets me on the edge of my seat. If you see a 3-10 or 26-2 in some cases, it's like, okay, like I have a good bet who's gonna win this one. But when you get the even splits, the 2-2s, the 5s and 5s, or the 6s, it's like, okay, who's got it this time? And then you can see like, okay, who won the last one? If I love good back and forth matches like that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm glad we're all enjoying the sumo.
Yeah, I know.
I love sumo anyway.
I know. Well, is that the wrap up of day 3?
That's the wrap up of day 3.
Oh man, and that's crazy.
I know there's so many others I could talk about. You know, like I starred so many other ones that we didn't even get to talk about. But it's just kind of the way it goes. We would be here all night talking about sumo otherwise.
I know.
Well, I've got nothing going on. Like, what would you guys like to talk about? I'm away from the other 3. It's like, oh, people worthwhile talking to. It's like, please let us discuss sumo.
I want to know, is someone surprising you? Like Nishikigi for me, I'm finding, I really am loving to watch him more and more. Is there someone like that for you?
I would definitely say the one that's surprising me, at least for right now, and recency bias does play into it a little bit, Nishikifuji. Honestly, I love seeing the newcomers fresh from Juryo making their debut just to see how they do. It usually goes one of two ways. They either rock it straight up, do fantastic, which is very rare, but you more than have they suck, this is not good, welcome to the big show, essentially.
Right.
So far, as of day 3, not bad. He hasn't, according to his results, 2-1, not too shabby, but looking at his matches, he hasn't given up. So, I know I mentioned that earlier in the show. It's like, all right, you're surprising me, kid. Keep it up.
Nice. What about for you, Liz?
Nope. Nobody.
Nope.
It's
Nobody.
open. It's open.
No.
It's open this time. Keeping my heart open.
Wakamoto Haru always for me. Like that boy is
I
weighing on my mind. I really like watching him.
I can't.
I know you don't, but
I can't. And it's purely selfish because he shouldn't be doing well, but that jerk has ruined more of my predictions too. And I have learned my lesson. And now I can't, but now when he's doing poorly, I'm like, oh, that sucks. Oh, eat it.
I see.
Well, as everyone has made their prediction, I'm going to wrap up this podcast. But before I go, I just want to tell everyone, if you've not gotten your bingo card, get a bingo card because we still have a few left and we have epic prizes. We have a Kisenosato authentic Tagada and his retirement announcement. We have so many awesome donated gifts and cool things that were brought back over from Japan by people that just kindly donated it. We've had some people make some awesome sumo face masks and also just all kinds of cool stuff. So make sure and get your bingo card, and we will be back at you next week chatting about days 4 through 10. Until then, I'm Leslie.
Oh, I'm Mac of the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast. Hello and goodbye.
And I'm Laurie.
Thanks, Mac, for sitting in with us. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
See you next time.